Hello and welcome back to the Wrexham Way. Hope you're all doing well and looking forward to today's episode where potentially we could have 3 games coming up. Preston, Blackburn and Bournemouth as we wait for the youth intake for this season. It's got to come at some point in March. We're currently on March the 15th and it will come at some point, but I did want to do the Preston game because this game, as you can see, 20th versus 19th, is a big one. But whilst I've been sitting on my screen, I have just realised there's a stat here which I think is monumental. Team stats. I've just noticed it. You may have seen it as well. Team detailed. Where is it? Is it on? I'm not quite sure where to find it on here now, if I'm honest with you. It was yellow cards. There we go. 111 yellow cards we've had this season. What are our players doing? Our tackles won ratio is 78%, which I feel is... It's not bad. It's on par with everyone else, to be fair. Some teams lower, some teams high. Only 2 red cards. Coventry have had 9 red cards in total. Coventry are well above red cards too. There's some weird stats here. Anyway, that's taken us on a little bit of a tangent. Welcome back. Hope you're all doing well and looking forward to today's episode. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the channel. I said that bit already. Make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. I can't understand why I got confused by that one. Anyway, since you guys were last here for the win to Reading and then the 0-0 draw in the 4th round of the FA Cup against Ipswich, we've done okay. It's been a win or a loss, basically, in the games that we've played since then. A 2-0 loss to Bristol City, who were at the time top of the table, was probably quite expected, to be fair. But we did bounce back with a 1-0 win against bottom of the table MK Dons, which was great. The replay against Ipswich Town, they won it in extra time. A rather frustrating game there. But they go through to the 5th round where they play against Crystal Palace, who are in our division. So it's not like it was a big Premier League tie or anything else like that. We then got very lucky late on in the game against Luton. An 88th minute winner, George Alexander, getting himself on the score sheet there. His first goal since I think Blackburn. That's a long time without a goal. But since then, actually, he has scored a couple of goals, winning us a game against Nottingham Forest as well. But a win there was really good before we lost to then top of the table Cardiff. They overtook Bristol City at one point, so I lost to those guys before beating Nottingham Forest, surprisingly. George Alexander scoring early on in that game before 2 losses in a row to Stoke and Huddersfield. The games today, Preston, Blackburn and Bournemouth, 19th, 12th and 7th in the division, all slightly different challenges. If we do end up playing all 3 of them, it's going to be interesting to see how we do. And obviously, I mentioned it earlier on, we are 20th in the table right now. A couple wins in between episodes has really propelled us away from the relegation zone. Barring any sort of catastrophe, we are 9 points clear of Portsmouth in that final relegation spot. I think we might just about be okay, but of course, we have gone through the process of playing with teams around us in the table. For the most part, the rest of the season are teams ahead of us, so it's unlikely we'll get too many more wins this season. But because there is a lot to get through, we're going to start off with today's first game against Preston. And fingers crossed, we're going to get a really decent result. So this is the team then that's going to be taking on Preston today. We do have a suspension to Jim McBangold. He is out for yellow card infringement, so he will be replaced today. But the team is pretty much actually a little bit different to what you might usually expect. Johns starts in goal with a backline of Lennon, Holm and Oliver Street, with Medford Smith and Hosanna in the backline. So that's all the same. Thompson comes in for Jim McBangold, and then James Jones is alongside him. But as you can see, now where is he? Colwell at 6.3 in his last 5 games, not playing well. Let's give Luis Henrique a go. We're paying him £6 a week to be crap, so let's see if we can do crap on the pitch instead. Stutter is starting up front, had a fairly decent past couple of games, much better than Paul Mullen. He's on a 6.5 in his last 5 games. He's not playing well, but the man scoring goals at the moment is George Alexander. He is leading the line. So as kickoff is upon us today, we are at home and this is one of the last winnable games of the season. Win it and we will go ahead of Preston in the table, which would be fantastic for us as we enter the final run of games this season. Into the final 10 now as we play this game, as Alexander shoots from distance, putting it just over the bar. Preston are currently managed actually by Danny Cowley, who's I'm a big fan of Danny Cowley, obviously for the Lincoln City connections, but I reckon at some point in the future in real life he'll be managing a Premier League team at some point and doing very well at a Premier League team. I think he's that good of a manager, him and Nicky Cowley. They are so good. I rate them highly. They'll get promoted with Portsmouth this season, no doubt in my mind, and I wish they were still at Lincoln, basically. But as Preston come forward, they are not having the best of times in the Championship this season, but they're having a good time here at Wrexham as they go 1-0 up. Well, it's good timing for my sentence, I suppose, as I was bigging up the Cowleys, but maybe I shouldn't have done that. That was poor from me, maybe. So, 25 minutes on the clock. We are 1-0 down, but not out of this game. It's very, very tight at the moment with 2 shots to 3 shots, but we're not really seeing much from us in terms of creating chances as Preston forward again, nearly scoring a good goal. I think one of the biggest issues with the team this season is definitely consistency. We are just not the most consistent team, really. We can win games, but it's when we're all playing at our very, very best. And today, it is not one of those days. Next season, we need to bring in some better quality players who just are a bit more consistent at this level. Like Paul Mullen, consistent at all the levels below this, but this season in the Championship, he's just not really been cutting it. And I hate to do it because he's been such an important player for us in this series, but I think maybe in summer we look to potentially let him go, unless, of course, we can score a goal late on. No one playing particularly well. George Alexander's going to come off for Mullin. And, I mean, Luis Enrique 6-4. Colwill on you come as well. Medford Smith off for Ben Williams. I mean, we'll make all 3 changes at the same time with 20 minutes or so to go in this game. I mean, why not? Let's try and make the changes. See what happens as... Well, we've scored a goal. Stutter gets his 3rd of the season after not scoring a goal for a long, long time. He's starting to find a couple. And I think the changes that we're making right now to get those bad players off the pitch, it might be good enough to turn the tide in our favour. This is important. I mean, a point is a good result for us. We'll take a point. Any point is good. If we can get to 50 points by the end of the season, that should be enough for safety. Continue with the changes, please. But given how poor MK and Coventry are doing, I don't think they're going to get anywhere near 50 points. I don't think Portsmouth will either, so I'd like to think maybe 45 might be enough this season to stay up. 45 points. So any point matters, really, but if we can just grab an extra one here, which I don't think we're going to... You never know. Hosanna gone off with a little knock. James Jones nearly picks up a yellow card there. Oliver Street passes the ball straight into the path of Sibley, who comes forward, shoots from distance, puts it wide. Will the highlight continue in our favour? No, it finishes, and Medford Smith got a yellow card. So actually we add our 112th 11 card to the season. But a 1-1 draw is not a bad result for us there. I think we can be happy. But James Jones, Apo Holman, Oliver Street could all do with a rest, which they won't really get because Blackburn is coming up in 3 days' time. I think what we'll do is, there's a lot of players injured and want rest, we're going to go training rest 2 days, and hopefully they'll be fit enough for the Blackburn game, who now sit 12th in the table. Portsmouth looks like they've picked up a point in that game as well. They were pegged back by Norwich at the last second, so that's very handy for us. We stay 9 points clear of them with 9 games to go this season. I mean, surely Portsmouth won't go on a run. Surely we'll stay ahead of them. I'm feeling good about it. Portsmouth looks like they've picked up a point in that game as well. They were pegged back by Norwich at the last second, so that's very handy for us. We stay 9 points clear of them with 9 games to go this season. I mean, surely Portsmouth won't go on a run. Surely we'll stay ahead of them. I'm feeling good about it. How many changes do I want to make to the team? Not many. Williams suspended. He's got to come off the pitch. So we'll bring him off for Jim McBangle to go on the bench, who can actually come back onto the pitch now, can't he? Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. I was looking for the star and I couldn't see it, but his name's too long for the star to fit on here. You swap with Thompson. Hosanna looking tired, so Gethin Jones on you come for this game. The rest of the team will stay the same, I think. I'm not too fussed about bringing Mullen back on just yet, I don't think. We'll leave Alexander on for another game, see what he can do. He has been scoring goals. So Stutt and Mullen's not. It makes sense. If just one of them could get to 10 goals this season, that would be quite nice. And there's plenty of time to do it, and Mullen's actually the guy that probably would do it, if anyone. But 5 more goals and 7 more goals for Stutter and Alexander, that's probably not going to do it really, are they? As the free kick for Blackburn is off the crossbar. Holm clears it away, but only just, and it goes off for a throw in the end. But an early warning sign from a very empty Blackburn stadium here today. But Blackburn looking strong from set pieces. Another highlight, this time from a corner, and it's been put in the back of the net or not. The referee is not awarding a goal here, and goal line technology, I mean, this angle doesn't really, it's on an angle itself. Looks like the ball is well over the line, but I'm going to believe but it's not over the line. If they could do a top-down view for that, that would be amazing, but I think you have to be in 2D to do that maybe. Either way, we've got away with that one. Now, Blackburn are not too far away from the playoffs. A good run could see them get into the playoffs, but for me, they've got nothing to play for. We have everything to play for to survive in the Championship. So if they could just roll over for us, that would be quite nice. I mean, Jan Valery, I feel like I've had him in previous Football Manager saves. I feel like I'd get on a level with him and he could like score an own goal. Jan, is that you? Jan? Oh, he's on the pitch. I can't talk. He's on the pitch. That's why I can't talk to him. Anyway, a highlight for us, hopefully for us, right at the start of this second half, as Luis Henrique gives more reasons not to sign him and try and sell him further on down the line. At least Harry Lennon is playing well, and I don't understand how he does it. He's still our highest average rating player by a long shot. He should not be playing at this level. There's nothing about him that says Championship level defender, and yet he is always there as our top average rated player. Every single season he's been the top average rated player in our team. He's always there. I can't not play him. Despite his attributes being terrible for the Championship, he's always up there with some great ratings. And as the clock ticks down, we've left subs a bit late in this one. And I'd rather just get the point. I think if I make changes, it'll upset the balance of the team a little bit. But it's another poor game for our strikers. I think Mullen comes on for the next one. But I tell you what, it's a clean sheet and it's another point on the board. Another point towards safety. Hang on. Youth candidates evaluate. Oh, what? Hang on. Are they hit? We recommend you sign them. Have I missed the youth intake day? Youth. Alright, well I missed youth intake day. I don't know how I missed youth intake day, but it looks very, very good. Look at this. Youth candidates. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 5-star players and 2 with 4.5 stars of potential. How have I not seen this yet? It came through 2 days ago, Tom. Did you guys see this? I'll watch this back. I bet in editing at some point it comes up and I could completely skip it over. Okay, editing Tom here. I have realised what's going on here. It came through at midnight on the 16th. So when I was scrolling through the news feed, I was pressing the news item button. And for whatever reason, it just skipped over the news message. Like it never appeared to me on screen. It just skips over the news message, which makes me think I've missed hundreds of messages at some point in Football Manager. But you can see from the footage, right? It's weird, right? It never came up. I guess we'll start right at the top then. A goalkeeper, Harry Collery, with a nice bit of facial hair for 15 years old. I'm very jealous because, as you can tell, this is about a week's worth of growth, this, and it's not great, is it? Still, this keeper, does he look good? Not bad at all, to be fair. He's got 5-star potential, which is great. Currently Vanarama North and South level, but at 15 years old, that's amazing. Distribution could maybe be a little better. Kicking and throwing is not ideal, but he's only 15. I like it. I like what I see. He could be a very useful player. Larn Weeks, I think it's Larn or Ilan. Ian, I'll call him Ian. Ian Weeks, he is a right winger with 14 dribbling at 15 years old. Good pace as well, good acceleration, tall. Had to be let down somewhere, a fickle personality. We can tutor that out of him. We can tutor it out of him, it'll be fine. But fundamentally, does look like a good winger. Shane Daly, 4.5 stars of potential, another centre mid. We have loads of good young centre mids come through. I'm not sure if that's because Andre is a centre mid himself, but mentals are really good for 15. First touch, passing, technique are really good as well. Mercenary personality though. The personality is not great, but again, we can tutor out of him, but I like the look of this guy. Like, he looks better than Vanarama North-South to me already. There's Rick Davis as well, who's a centre-back, 6'2", great, you love to see it. 10 heading, good marking, good tackling, good positioning, very brave, good jumping reach, fundamentally solid. Unambitious personality. Again, we're going to have to tutor a lot of these personalities out of them. Harry has got balance, which is fairly okay. That's okay. Ben Goodwin, the next player, is a winger/striker. Is better as a winger, apparently, according to the stars, but I do see him as maybe more of a striker. Potentially, just because finishing and his dribbling is better than his crossing and his corners, and his passing's okay too. Balanced personality, good left foot as well. That's quite interesting. So, and he's 5'10", so he could be good in the air. I reckon he could be all right. And then the last player we'll look at is Allard, who is a left-back / centre-back. 6 foot, left foot, balanced personality, good natural fitness. The heading and jumping reach isn't quite so good. Neither's the crossing or dribbling, though. So again, it'll be a lot of tutoring and work on him. But they're all 15 years old, Tom. Remember that. They're 15 years old. These guys could be class in the future. And again, there's 4-star players here. Connor Owen, a centre mid, who not quite as good as the previous centre we looked at, but still could be a very useful player to have. And this guy down here, Kieran Peat, a right winger. We've got loads of good players coming through. Actually, he looks quite solid already for a 15-year-old. This is the best youth intake we've had so far, I reckon. These players could be special, you know. And so, because they've played their game, we will sign recommended players, which is, I think, most of the players. In fact, yeah, pretty much most of them. As they did they win their game? They won 2-1 against Wrexham under-18s, which is pretty interesting. That's an interesting one. How did the under-18s play? It's not going to tell me. Either way, I think we can be pretty happy with that. And so, because it's getting pretty late in the day on Thursday, I need to edit this up and then upload it as well. So I've not got much time to do it. It's 5:30. I've not got much time to do it at all. So we'll finish up today's episode right there. But you guys got to see the youth intake, which is the main part of today's episode. I don't know where port came from. We will be here again tomorrow, though, for the end of this season. Ipswich and QPR are the teams coming up in that one. Unless, of course, we are in a big relegation battle a little bit earlier on and we need to play Portsmouth, for example. In fact, Portsmouth could be a good game if we are sucked into a relegation battle with them. Looking at the table, though, we are 7 points clear of Portsmouth. We should be all right. We should be all right. Luton have got to go through that fight first. Preston are right there with us. Our goal difference is a lot worse than Preston's, but still, I think we will finish outside the relegation zone, but you can never promise anything, can you? Anyway, thank you very much for watching today's episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And of course, if you have done, make sure you do drop a like on the video for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're around here and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Until next time, have a lovely evening and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.